I started and own a company called Veteran Compost, and we're a commercial composting operation. So we collect food scraps all the way from Northern Virginia to the Northern Maryland, from businesses and residential customers. With all of our trucks, we bring that back to 2 facilities that we manage and own, and we process all those food scraps into compost and different soil products that we then sell. So we're out there 6 days a week picking up food scraps, composting the material, and selling all those products to farmers and gardeners and homeowners and stuff like that. So the way I get into this is probably like everyone's first question. I'm not from like a hippie family. I'm not from a farm family. I grew up in Columbia near the mall, so there's I was an Army ROTC cadet, so I went through college, and then the day I graduated was the day I got commissioned in the Army, and I did 5 years on active duty. You know, went overseas and back a couple times, and then got out to join the National Guard. So I left Iraq in December of 2009, April of 2010, got home, was really excited to be a civilian most of the time, and I found myself unemployed. So, you know, kind of angry for a while and upset, and then it's like, all right, well, that's not very healthy. It's not what you would do in the military when you get faced with a challenge. So started to kind of think about, you know, what could I do? How could I, you know, just if no one else is going to value me, how can I, you know, do something with myself? So I liked in the Army that I had a mission and a purpose and was part of a bigger thing, and that's kind of why I looked at sustainability and thought, if I'm going to do something, put all this time into it, I'm not going to manage a Subway franchise and just do it to make money. I'm going to do something with some purpose. Then I started to key in on recycling, you know, taking waste and finding something to do with it. So I really like researched electronics recycling, collecting cell phones and computers, but in that market, that was only 3% of the trash in America. There were already a lot of people doing it. There's a lot of competition. So then I looked at this big pie chart of trash in America, and 2/3 of everything that gets thrown out every day, everywhere in the country is compostable. So every trash truck that drives by you, 2/3 of what's in that trash truck could be composted instead of buried in the ground in the landfill. So instead of chasing that 3% that's really contested, why not go after the 66% that no one's doing? So my undergraduate degree was in information systems. I did combat engineering and explosives in the Army, so like no background, so everything was kind of like self-taught. So I just Googled everything I could find. I read every article I could find. Found a map with compost facilities on them, and I would just drive and show up and be like, hey, how you doing? My name's Justin, can I come kick the tires? And people would be like, yeah, come in, and showed me around. The big thing in our industry is you gotta have a place to put a facility, and it's really hard to find a piece of property that could fit my needs. So I looked at Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and then I started to come back to Maryland where I grew up. Craigslist, I found a farm for lease on Craigslist. So we found a 30-acre farm, signed a lease with not one customer lined up, nothing. I mean, the property was available, so we jumped on it. So in July of 2010, 2011, we signed the lease, and off we went. I really am a big fan of the Small Business Development Center, the SBDC. It's a free resource. It's awesome. They have classes that are free or nominal fees, and then to meet with a counselor, literally a one-on-one business coach, is free, and it's at every major university in every major area. There's a university that's designated. So literally the first 6 months from July to the end of the year, 6 months of business, total revenue was $350. So like, I can't tell you how much money we spent. I could have played scratch-off lottery tickets and made far more money. It was a disaster. So I just started to watch, you know, the money tick down, and I started to freak out about, we were just hemorrhaging money, and I thought people would sign up. And you know, 5 years ago in this business, as you went around and went to restaurant owners, if you can even get in front of them, because the hostess and the managers will block you from the decision maker, if you can even get there, and you got to go cold calling, which is the biggest crack to your ego ever, because everyone just loves, no one wants to talk to a salesperson on the phone. I don't. So I would walk in these restaurants and I would say, hey, I have a business to collect food scraps, would you want to sign up? And they would think that I was from like a soup kitchen or something, and they'd be like, I don't, so you're going to do this and feed people? No, we're going to compost it. Oh, okay, well, how much do you pay us for the food scraps? No, I don't pay you, you pay me. So it was just people weren't ready for it 5 years ago. And so the first 6 months, we had really no paying customers. we really were just starting to make compost, so we didn't have a lot of product available because there's a delay in making the product. So we sold at the end of the year a couple bags of compost, we made $350. So I was watching the money just pour out of this place. The way this all got going was I had a guy call me, owned a restaurant, and he called me in December, end of December, and said, I compost with another service, they have a problem with showing up. Are you interested in taking a look at this and maybe becoming our provider? I said, I'll be there tomorrow. It snowed the next day, like 2 inches, and in Maryland, that's like 6 feet. So, like, accidents everywhere. I just hopped in my truck, I left wicked early. I get down there, I show up, I walk in the door, I said, hey, I'm here to meet you for the 1 o'clock, and the guy was like, I didn't think you were gonna come. I said, I thought that was the whole problem with the other company. So I was like, look, I can be on time on the battlefield. I will be here to pick up your bins whenever I say so, even if it's snowing like it is today. So they were like, done. We'll sign up. They're like, oh, by the way, what's the price? So, I mean, for some people, money's not the issue, it's other things. And that's what we found is, for a lot of our initial customers, it was service. So that first customer, it was showing up on time. We showed up, we landed him. 3 months later, we had a hospital. They had it open to bid. They bid it to Waste Management, they bid it to Republic Services, the 2 biggest companies in the world that do trash, and they bid it to us. So I walk into this like conference room and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm such a loser. Like, these guys are big time. And we won the contract. So we won that deal because they appreciated that our customer service was better than the 2 really large customers. And then from there, it just took off. And so now we have, I have in the DC area, 300 or 400 customers right now. And then up in Baltimore, where we do a lot more commercial heavy work, we probably have about 50, hospitals, supermarkets, stuff like that. So I mean, we do everything from 7-gallon bins on people's doorsteps around DC to up in Baltimore. We do dumpsters from the VA hospital. We do the Baltimore Ravens, all their material at the stadium. We do Wegmans, we do Mom's Market, we do T. Rowe Price, McCormick with their spice labs and stuff like that. So we have all these really cool people that, as we started to kind of gather steam, got going. So now I don't do any sales calls. We don't do any marketing or anything like that. People call us and we have a waiting list in Baltimore. And in DC, we're adding like 1 to 2 residential customers a day. So things like, once we got the momentum and got going, things have like really taken off. So a lot of our initial problems were, holy crap, like how am I gonna pay the bills? Like what did I get myself into? And now the problems are more, growth oriented, which are like, like they're good problems. Like how are we gonna hire people? How are we gonna pay for this next piece of equipment? And things like that. What we do is we collect food scraps 6 days a week. So we have trucks out on the road in the DC metro area. It's 7 and 14-gallon bins. So we have like cargo vans that are going to apartment buildings and office buildings, break rooms, and people's homes. And then up in Baltimore, we have larger trucks, and we have some subcontractors that pick up the dumpsters and the big bins. And they come to one of our 2 facilities. One's in Aberdeen, north of Baltimore, and one's in Fairfax. And all those bins get dumped out. They get washed out, that's where you start when you work for us, is you start at bin washing, and you can only go up from there. So you're scrubbing out all these different trash cans, and those go back on the truck to go back out again. So it's a revolving door. And then all the material that gets dumped out, we pick through any trash that might be in there, and all of our food scraps we mix with wood chips. So we don't process any yard waste or any manure because of all the different chemicals and herbicides and pesticides people put on their grass and on their hay fields. So we don't want any of those chemicals in our products. So like I said, I'm not a hippie dude, but like there are certain things that like I'm concerned about, and chemicals are one of them. So that's our differentiator. If you go to Home Depot today or Walmart, there's compost on the shelf for $1 a bag. You can go get Leaf Grow anywhere for a couple dollars a yard. Where we're located at in Aberdeen, the city of Aberdeen and Havre de Grace are both next to us, and the county, they all give away compost for free. And we sell our compost for $35 a yard, the highest price in the state, and we sell out. So people pass by 3 other places they can get it for free to come to us because of the way we make our product. Our facility in Aberdeen, we have about a 3-hour radius. People drive up Ocean City, Maryland, Northern Virginia, Harrisburg, New Jersey. People drive down just to get our stuff. So our big differentiator has been the fact that we only use wood chips and food scraps and make an organic product. I'm not like a risk-taking dude. I like jumped out of airplanes in the Army. I'll never jump out of a plane again. I'm not big on rock climbing. Like, it's not every entrepreneur is like a adrenaline junkie risk taker. So you don't have to have that characteristic. I'm very, very risk adverse.